OG Rose here, and today we're going to be talking about a paper called Representing Beauty. And the main idea of the paper is that technology always changes towardness. What I mean by towardness is a kind of orientation, but it's also ontological. It has to deal with the very being of things. And what I mean by that is before cameras were invented, it wasn't possible to look at a sunset as a potential picture. You could view it as beautiful, pretty, maybe as pretty as a painting, but you couldn't see it as that I should take a picture of that. But once the camera was invented, you could look at a photograph or a tree or be at a party or whatever and go, I should take a picture. And so the technology thus changes our relationship to the things in the world around us. Now everything in the world is a potential photograph. And it's no longer possible to go back to a period of time in which things weren't potential photographs, and thus the world is completely changed, and it's forever changed. Similarly, now that we have social media, Facebook, Twitter, and all that, it's not possible to have a conversation and not think of the conversation as potential material for a tweet or a post or something like that. Likewise, you can't go to a party and not think about taking pictures that could be liked. And likewise, since you can like things on the social media, it's not possible to avoid thinking of things as potential material that could be liked and that could get you approval from your peers. And so as a result, our relationship to the world is very different. Everything has a certain framing that before it didn't have. And there can be a lot of emotional consequences to this because, too, if you know that you could take pictures of a party, you thus also know that people know you could take pictures of a party, and if you don't, they might be mad at you. If you don't post it. They'll be like, why aren't they sharing with me? And so then there can be this emotional tension that goes into texting and tweeting and taking pictures of everything. I mean, if you know that your friends have cell phones, they're going to know if you're not texting them, and you'll know that they know you're not texting them, and so this can create some anxiety, and so as a result, these technologies can have some emotional consequences. And yet, ironically, the technologies also help us kind of escape the world by making the world something we can capture. And there's a temptation to capture the world in order to make it something more manageable, precisely so that we can avoid anxiety that results in anxiety coming in new ways. The paper claims that existentialism is the opposite of escapism. In an existential world, you have to create meaning for yourself. Essence comes after existence, not the other way around, as classically thought. And this is even true if you believe in God. If you believe in God and that the world is intrinsically meaningful, you still have to determine in what is your purpose within the framework of that capital M meaning. So you have work to do. And this can be very existentially overwhelming. It can create anxiety. It can create tension. But this can contribute to why there can be a desire to make the world something you can control, something you can have dominion over. And in having these technologies to make the world capturable, something you can capture, something you can frame, something that you can make representatives of, it can create a feeling that the world is something in your control, not something that will overwhelm you. So that can be a way to sort of fight the existential challenges that the world presents. People talk about this. They talk about entertainment distracting you from the big questions. Well, these technologies, too, by making you, say, look at a chair and thinking of a chair as a potential photograph instead of a thing of which exists but doesn't have meaning unless it's given meaning, sort of this existential question, I guess, like that tree in Nausea by Sartre. Well, then you don't have to worry about that existential dimension. You can just think of its digital currency and the digital worth that it might have. So anyway, that's just a summary of the paper Representing Beauty. If you'd like to listen to the whole thing, there will be a link. And for more, please visit ogrose.com. Thank you for your time.